This week.
What was that look for?
So I was waiting for you to interrupt me.
Introduce the episode.
I'm joined by Roy in the intro.
Woo!
What do we do, Roy? What do we just talk about?
We talk about The Walking Dead. We talk Westworld. We talk a whole bunch of other shit.
That you don't remember because you fell asleep.
I didn't fall asleep. I'm just very tired.
This is Modern Retro. And welcome back to the escape pod.
You look at me, I was like, man.
Wait, I just said the escape pod. Holy crap.
I know.
I'm in a different world.
You looked at me like you wanted me to say something. I was like, I don't know, man.
I don't know. We've just been talking for what? Almost 30 minutes about another topic that we are not allowed to bring up on the podcast.
You're not allowed.
I'm not allowed to. Well, yes, I'm not allowed to bring up on the podcast.
Yet.
Roy's like, please talk about it. Please just talk about it.
Drinking them beers, Cuba.
I need to drink. I need to drink a lot of beers before
you go grab a beer
before I perjure myself.
Welcome to Modern Retro. I'm Aaron.
Oh,
wow. You took the intro from me. Yes, I am Cuba.
And I'm Roy over here. I'm tired.
And I'm Roy. Yeah, Roy came to the door, and before we got on the subject that we were previously on, that we can't talk about, that got Roy all excited. He comes through the door like, hey. He's just like huffing and puffing.
I'm tired, man. I was literally sitting in the car. You know, you were like, hey, he's here. It's 7:00. I was here at like 6:59.
Yeah, you weren't through the door at 6:59.
I know, because I was sitting in the car looking at my clock going, I've got to get into Cuba's house, but I'm so tired. I got to go knock on his door. And I'm literally in the car going, let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. I got this. Like, trying to, like, psych myself up. I got no energy. Sackless.
No, you're good now, because our pre-show conversation got you wound up.
I got to keep it going, though. Yeah. Keep it going. Play the Rocky theme.
That's not Rocky. That's the final countdown.
That was in Rocky.
Yeah, but I don't think of
Rocky. It wasn't the
when
Rocky theme.
Right,
so
yeah.
I did say the Rocky song. Yeah, that's final count. That was the third or the fourth one.
Fuck, I don't remember.
Oh, should I start?
Then play Eye of the Tiger.
Should I start this podcast off with that special promo?
We have a special promo. Why don't you tell us about it, Aaron?
Take it away.
Anyway, you can go over to FlashMcGrant.com and get 50% off all Star Wars adult classes for until the end of December. I found that one out. Just when you load up your cart, use the promo code FORCE at checkout.
Don't tell them. No, they have to go to the website.
They have to listen to this podcast, damn it. Now, if you were actual
too.
fans, you would have got it a week before the rest of the world knew about it. So who knows if supplies lasted, motherfucker.
Oh, don't insult them. Don't insult them.
But I'm gonna add this because since I am like the runner of, or I have access to Star Wars glasses since I bought like a shit ton of them when they first came out.
They make you buy your own product?
No, they have like a special sale where we get them at what do you call them? Manufacturing prices, not MSRP.
So you get them at like 10 cents a piece?
Well, a little bit more than that, like a couple dollars. But
$300 sunglasses that cost 10 cents.
But because, I mean, this is my own personal stash of cool glasses. But for this podcast, Cuba, and so that we could boost some, get some listeners, if you like, comment, subscribe in the next week. Goddammit.
Week. He's giving you folks a timetable.
Yeah.
You have.
What's
now about a week will be when Rogue One comes out.
Exactly.
So when Rogue One comes out.
When Rogue One comes out, it's Friday the 16th, motherfucker. If you like, comment, and subscribe to this podcast on Facebook.
Well, you like and comment on Facebook, or you subscribe on Stitcher or iTunes.
Well, how do I track that? How do I know that? You're the guy that has all the links.
This is fascinating.
I tell you.
Purely fascinating.
Shut up and keep drinking.
All right. Well,
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Like, comment, subscribe in iTunes because I can actually look at shit in iTunes, and I will send you My actually,
Well,
no.
how many are we giving away? Are we picking like one person?
Yes.
And if nobody does it, do I get them?
no, our audience.
Is this like the one package that you didn't choose, Aaron, because you didn't like the pair that came in it?
No, not at all.
Yeah. No.
Not at all.
I know. It's just the way you say, yeah.
Like I designed them all. They're all my.
I just have
babies.
like so many of them, and I can just get more if I need more. So,
Yeah, no, I'm just fucking with you, buddy.
All right. So how many are you gonna give away? How many are you parting with?
I'll give away. Okay, I'll give away two to two listeners
All right.
who like, comment, subscribe in the next week on the day that Star Wars comes out.
Okay. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. You subscribe on iTunes, and you leave a comment either on the website or the Facebook page, saying "Gimme them glasses," just so we know.
Or use the Force.
I mean, if you want to say something more productive, then please, by all means. But it has to involve the term "Gimme them glasses."
Tell us why you like the podcast, followed by "Give me them glasses."
Do we have a Twitter up? Because we should put up a hashtag "Give me them glasses."
We do have a Twitter.
Imagine if that started trending somehow.
I'm sure, dude. I guarantee you, there's already a hashtag "Gimme them glasses." I would not be surprised.
What about hashtag Modern Retro? Or Modern Retrocast?
We can do that. I'll be honest. I don't fully understand how hashtags work.
Oh my God, Cuba! Cuba, how do you expect to run this podcast? You're gonna run it right into the ground. You don't know fucking hashtags and
I use hashtags, but I'm like, if no one uses that hashtag, how does it work? How is it like a hashtag?
you can search
Yeah,
it. It's
oh,
a
man.
search function essentially. It's a title that you can search and show up results. So
So if I hashtag Roy's nuts, and nobody else in the whole world has ever hashtag Roy's nuts, somebody can look, like hashtag search Roy's nuts and find it, and then they can hashtag Roy's nuts.
as far as I know,
I'm gonna look it up
Okay.
right now. Roy's nuts.
it's not that I've been deeply.
There's nothing for Roy's nuts.
Well, you gotta start that hashtag. Please, no pictures.
But
I never used hashtags until I got an Instagram account. Then I'll post something on Instagram, and I want people to see it, so I'm putting the hashtags. But when you type a hashtag in on Instagram, it'll tell you hashtag name, and then however many people are hashtagging it, if that's the proper terminology.
okay. Well,
I don't know. Is that the proper term? Hashtagging?
I don't know, man, but this is
Hashing?
the world's worst old man sounding conversation. What's a hashtag?
welcome
How do you
to
use the
Modern
Twitter?
I know what it is. I
Retro.
just don't know how it works.
So
Sunglasses, dem glasses, viral Twitter.
but Cuba, this is going to
Yeah,
rely
yeah.
on you because you're the one
Okay.
with the email who gets the notifications that people like, comment, or subscribe to these things.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're going to have to keep track of it for an entire week.
Okay.
Okay.
I do anyways.
So listeners, like, comment, subscribe. We got a Facebook, we got a Twitter, we got a YouTube. You want to like us on YouTube? I think all of these ways of like, commenting, and subscribing go towards this giveaway because our audience is still so small.
The more you do, the better your chances.
Exactly.
So you get putting into a random drawing, whoever does it. Say we have 10 people who do it. Their names get tossed in a hat. We rustle around in the hat. We pull one name, or two names, right? And those two names are the lucky contestants who get those two packages.
Correct.
Yes, indeed.
All right, there we go. You guys got the info. Get to it.
What's the code again?
Force at checkout at fostergrant.com/Star Wars.
Damn.
Boom!
Go.
Get at it.
Get them glasses, son.
All right, Roy. So you're the one sitting here complaining that we're bored, that we're boring. So what do you got? Tell me something.
I can't.
What do you got for me that is going to enthrall and entertain people? Grab them by the cockles and make them focus.
I got nothing, man. Why? I'm here because why are you looking at me like that? You're the one. We're here. You're the one with the topics. You ain't got nothing. You're unprepared, and you're taking it out on me.
I got topics.
You're gonna look for topics now that I'm talking.
I always got topics.
You son of a bitch.
Anyways, let's do a quick walk-in recap.
Okay. All right.
Get that out of the way.
You want me to cut? All right, you want me to set it off?
Go ahead.
All right. This episode kind of focused on Negan a bit more. I don't know the name of the episode. I never really check them. It started off at the point in the comic. Remember where Carl, he hides out in the truck and then tries to take out Negan?
He's talking to you, Aaron, because I haven't seen it.
No, I'm talking to you.
In the
I said
comic.
in the comic.
Oh, I haven't gone that far.
Yeah, but
I'm at the beginning of the Negan.
Jesus.
dude, you disgust me. You disgust me.
I know.
Yeah, this is definitely
Alright, so anyway-
very comic book heavy.
Yeah, they did a lot of the service with the comics here.
Well, that's good.
So he, how the fuck do I?
Sing Me a Song is the name of this episode.
That's right. All right. So a little sideline that's been going on is that Carl wants to kill Negan for obvious reasons. He basically meets up with one of Negan's trucks at the hilltop, jumps in the back, to kind of sneak his way into the compound. Grabs a gun when they arrive, jumps out and starts fucking killing people. This is my first beef with this episode, is that he has a clear shot at Negan and he doesn't take it. You know what I mean? Negan's
Why?
like, I don't know. Plot armor. You know what I mean? Negan's like, God damn, kid, you scare the hell out of me, and this and that. And he's Carl's disarmed and this and that, and now he's the quote-unquote guest of Negan in the compound. He shows him the way of the savior life and this and that. Aaron, jump in at any time, of course, for anything that I miss. I'm giving a very brief overview.
Good. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he just like walks
And
around
then-
the compound, and then there's a few key scenes with him, sitting down with Carl, and
Yeah, he makes him he's basically kind of break Carl down a bit, take him down. But he has a grudging, not even a grudging, he has like a pure respect for the kid. He tells him, like, kid, you scare the shit.
Carl is a badass.
Yeah, but he tells him, he's like, kid, you scare the shit out of me. And then there's one point where Carl's like, what are you going to do with me? What are you going to kill? And then Negan gets kind of pissed off. He's like, do not do that. You are a badass. You are this, you are that. Do not take my estimation down of you. He like respects Carl as like basically somewhat of an equal, He almost has this father type quality to him, which is kind of strange. And they do this like humanization thing of Negan that works when they're in the compound. Later on it doesn't, and I'll get to that too. But so he does something. Basically, he kills two of his men. Coral kills two of Negan's men. So he basically says, I need two things from you. I'm not going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. He makes him take off his bandage to show him that empty eye socket, the big grievous wound where he got his fucking eye shot out. And he starts, like, teasing Carl about it, like, God damn, that is ugly, kid. Ooh, can I touch it? I can see your skull. Let me just poke my finger around in there. And Carl starts to cry. And then Negan sees it and feels bad. Because he's like, shit, kid, I do this all the time. I joke. I was just breaking balls. I didn't mean to actually hurt your feelings. It's kind of a weird thing because you don't see Negan that way. Mm-hmm. We know him as a guy who cracks...
Well, that was in the comics, wasn't it?
It was, yes. Where he actually feels bad, like for a split second. And there's a reason why, and I'll get to that. As long as you don't mind some spoilers. Mm-hmm. But he does feel bad. But then he explains to him, I was just breaking balls. This is shit your father was supposed to teach you. So then he gives an example of it with a dirty joke to this minor character named Fat Joe. And then he makes him sing a song.
The rapper?
No, Fat. I think that's probably why they call him that. It's just some fat dude named Joe. And then he makes him sing a song. He asks him about his mother or something like that. And then makes him sing a song. What song does he sing? Oh, You Are My Sunshine. That's what it is. You are my sunshine, my only... And Carl starts to like break down and cry a bit. And in the background, Negan is, while Carl's singing the song, he's practicing his downward swing for caving in skulls while he's singing. And then obviously Carl explains, like, I had to kill my mother, and that's why that song, it's the only one I can think of. And then there's a couple points where, again, he shows Negan the savior way of, like, what it's like to be Negan. There's a side thing where they introduce what's called the Iron, where if you break the rules of the saviors, of Negan's rule, basically it's there's very specific rules. But this one includes Negan takes wives. He doesn't force women to become his wives. But if they do, they don't have to work on the points for labor system to get food and stuff like that. They get a really nice life. They just got to do what he says and fuck him and stuff like that, which is screwed up. But some women choose that over having to basically work to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a fucked up thing.
The French Resistance.
Yeah,
like World War II. There's French people that collaborated with the Nazis, and there's ones that didn't.
Yeah. So, the one thing you can't do, you can leave under your own violation, the wives can, but the one thing they can't do is cheat on him. So one of them cheats on him with some other guy, and they introduce the Iron, which is, do you know the character named Dwight?
No.
There's a main character who has a giant scar right here for reasons that I don't want to get into with it. Well, I'll explain it in a second. Where it's an iron, like for ironing clothes, that's left in a fire, gets red hot, and then he basically presses it into the left side of your face, leaving a giant scar. It's like the mark of shame, if you want to think of it like that. So every time you look in the mirror, and every time somebody else lays eyes on you, they know. It's a reminder, don't break Negan's rules. And Negan even has a cool point after he does it, where he explains why. This is, I did this so everybody knows not to break the rules. And so he looks in the mirror and he thinks it every single morning. And I also hope that I never have to fucking do this again. Wait, minus the fucking, because they don't say that. He says, I hope I don't have to do this ever again. Learn from this. So it kind of shows, they show this thing with Negan where it's like, he's a real asshole. He really, really is. You don't want to live under his rule. But in a strange, roundabout way, he's fair. Like, in a monarch dictator sense. I don't know how to explain it.
Who was more fair, Negan or the governor?
Negan. I would say, well, actually, no, that's tough, because Woodbury didn't really know that the governor was crazy.
Yeah.
Especially in the comics, they didn't realize that. You know what I mean? In the show, they had these, like, big mock gladiator fights.
Yeah.
Where they showed...
Well, I mean, they had that in the comic, too. Just, it wasn't... No, I mean, it was about the same. Like, it was like a high school, like, football field or something like that.
They did that in the comics, too?
Yeah. Pretty sure, right? Didn't they, Aaron?
Yeah.
They had that...
I couldn't remember. All right, that was my fault, then.
But, like, they were both pretty much the same, where in the comic and in the show, he was like... It's just a way for them to let off steam. It's like, I don't think it was like a fight to the death type thing.
They're fair.
I don't remember.
They're fair in their own ways. Like, Negan, as long as you follow Negan's rules, I don't think it would be that bad. But his rules do kind of suck. In Woodbury, the governor is kind of like a secret psychopath. But you don't want to be in a fucking room with him by yourself, because he might just snap and do something like cut your fucking hand off the first time you meet him. So it's really tough. Like, they're both evil assholes in their own way. But this episode went out of its way to kind of show you a slightly more human side. It's a lot like the episode that the governor got after the first attempt on the prison.
Yeah.
Where they find that family. And
where they made you like him, and then they fucked him up again.
Yeah, they kind of do that at points in this episode, where they show him empathizing with Carl and this and that, and then, but it's always tinged with a little bit of like, if you fuck with me, I'll bash your brains in,
I mean, that's the way. I guess I could almost. I'll be the final judge when I see the episode, but I feel that's the way like post-apocalypse has to work. I mean, you can't have... I don't know if, like, a truly free, democratic society can, like, function after the world has ended.
Well, he has...
You need, like... It's gonna make me sound like some sort of, like, dictator worshiper, but I feel like the rules and, like, freedoms that you have when the world isn't shit will get you killed.
There's a reason why there's the archetype of Conan the Barbarian. Like, you need a warrior, strongman, badass to follow. It's the head monkey. It's the lead chimp. The alpha male thing. Everybody falls in line, and he'll lead us to whatever, glory and safety that he can provide. He did get a short little monologue thing where he gave a speech. He had Carl follow him, and he's kind of standing on this... like a walkway, and when he walks in a room, everybody kneels. It's like he's some sort of king, He walks into the room, everybody drops to a knee. So he has this little monologue about how we have rules for a reason, we bring safety, civilization, we provide a service to surrounding areas, we are protectors, we are the saviors. And then, so he like has a point. It's like, I understand that. But then it's tinged with, I know what Aaron's complaint is. He like leans against the rail and he turns his back to the people. And he's talking to Carl and he says, see that? Respect. See, they respect me, they fear me, this and that. And he doesn't even look at them. He's like, they're still on their knees, aren't they? as you were, and then he just walks away, and the people get up and go about their business. Like, he loves that power over people to walk in a room, walk by, not acknowledge anybody, and they automatically drop to a knee as they walk by.
That's like anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody gets power like that, they're going to enjoy it, even if they don't necessarily enjoy it too much at first. It's gonna go to your head. You're gonna be. It's no matter who you are, and you have to be a uber virtuously bastard to like not let it go to your head. Yeah. You just walk into a room and people just drop to a knee and worship you and everything like that.
And there's a reason, a more deep pathos that I think why he likes that I explained in a group chat with you guys that I'll get into in a minute. But as for things and then after that, he just decides he can't kill Carl. You know what I mean? Because one, that'll probably touch off Rick, and that creates more problems. He wants Rick to work for him, to provide for him. And Negan is a lot like a businessman. You know what I mean? Like, he only does what he has to do to provide.
He uses the best words. He knows all the words.
It's gonna be huge.
China.
gonna bash in some skulls. It's gonna be great. But he only does what he has to do to provide the example, to show the rules. So he decides, okay, you paid me back with the song and the showing me your eye. I'm going to bring you back to Alexandria. This is where I think the show kind of took it a little too much. This is a random hour and a half episode. It was a 90-minute episode. I don't know why. Last week's was an hour and 15.
It was actually
really doing this.
It was actually only an hour long without commercials.
Well, yeah, but it was an hour and a half in the
TV land.
Yeah, in TV land, usually the episodes are only 40 minutes.
Yeah.
With commercials.
Yeah.
So this was a 90, what they call quote unquote a 90-minute episode block.
It was a normal HBO long episode.
So he loads up some guys in a couple trucks, and he goes back to bring Carl to Alexandria, and he gets the grand tour of Alexandria from Carl. And this is where I didn't like. Well, before I get to that, he did have this fat woman named Olivia who kind of keeps the stores of food and weapons, like all that stuff, the supplies. And he had a nice little. He insulted. He insults her about her weight all the time, and she cries. She gets upset. So he says something about she's like, we're starving. You took our food, and he just looks at her. And he's like, really? Starving? And she gets upset and cries. And then he feels bad about it. He's like, look, what's your name? Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel bad about yourself. I'm waiting on Rick. He's not going to be back for a while. So if you would be agreeable to it, I really think it would be nice to go upstairs and fuck your brains out. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? And then she slaps him. And he just looks at her and he gets really close. And she gets all scared. And he goes, I'm about 50% more into you now. And it was just kind of like a cool, you know what I mean? Because he's not a rapist. He's not, like he even says in the comics that he abhors sexual violence. Mm-hmm. Like somebody says something about rape. Or I think somebody almost gets raped by one of his men and he actually kills that guy in front of the woman, the prisoner. Yeah. And he, with blood and guts all over him from killing this dude. He even kneeling, holding his hand out to this woman says, we're not monsters. So it shows where his head's at. He just gutted at his own guy, blood everywhere and this and that. And he says, I'm not a monster.
Hey, well, it's one thing ruling with iron fist. You can't rule with an iron dick.
Yeah, there you go, the iron rod. So he says that to Olivia, and then... So that was good. That's where the episode, I think, should have ended, or they should have done the kill Spencer thing, like Aaron said in the chat. But then it has this little happy-go-lucky thing where they play, happy music, and it shows him being, like he takes off his shoes and scrunches up his toes in the carpet, and then it shows him, playing with the faucet and looking at Carl like, ooh, there's running water. You guys have hot water. And I didn't like that. That was stupid. Negan shouldn't be worried about that shit.
So it's the showrunners just doing what they do, just going that one step unnecessarily too far.
They try to they want to make him likable, and that's the misstep they always make. They want to humanize and make you have empathy with the villain, and that is where at every point in turn the showrunners, the writers, whatever, constantly fuck up. They did it with the governor.
They do it with every character. This show does not know subtlety. When they want you to care about somebody, they bash you over the head with it like a baseball bat.
Yes, but these past 2.5 or 3, I can't keep track with all the half seasons, have been great. They haven't really been doing that much. Now, I'm talking straight villains. The governor got his episode to make you really like him, and then randomly he turned bad again. I don't know. The people in Terminus, have you seen that in the show? The people in Terminus, you were like, holy shit, they're these crazy cannibals, what are we going to do? And then they showed like a slight part, or you heard like they were actual victims before that were getting like raped constantly and this and that, so you felt bad for them, and you were like, oh, well, they're just doing... But you shouldn't have that all the time. You don't need that.
No, that I didn't like that whole like 2 steps with the cannibals. I didn't. It's mind like choose one or the other. I had no problem with Terminus or their backstory, but it was unnecessary to like after the whole Terminus thing to do again like the ones that survive from Terminus have them do what they did in the comics.
See, it should have been
is like pick one or the other.
See, I didn't mind the Terminus thing. I think that the cannibals that followed them, technically I didn't actually mind that much because Terminus was blown out, so they had to do something. I don't know how all of a sudden they got to be like little super ninjas in the woods, but I feel like that should have been like a different group, like just a completely random. Like
that's what I liked about the original cannibals in the comics was like you don't know who they were, you don't know where they came from.
Yeah.
They were just dudes who were stealing and eating people. That's all I need to know. I don't need to sympathize with them. I don't care. That's where this show lacks.
And then even
that,
with
like you just need like random threats, like that group. I don't know, several seasons back.
Yeah, with Daryl.
Yeah,
but see, even that group they made somewhat likable because Daryl traveled with them for a while.
Exactly, unnecessary.
Exactly.
That group would have been perfectly fine if that whole thing with Rick in the house and they were like going through the house and he didn't know he was there. Right. Then he killed one of them and let him turn. Mm-hmm. And that would have been awesome. And it's like, all right, he escaped the house. They ran. They're dealing with that. That's it. There's, what? Let's say 90% of the world's population is gone. 10% of the human race is still quite a lot of fucking humans.
Yeah.
So the world is full of these random little bands of people, and that would have been great. But the fact that these guys tracked Rick the way they did,
I didn't like
it.
And
they just kept following him. It's like, no, just make it a whole separate group.
Yeah.
It's like you got to come across random threats.
See, that's what I really liked, and I believe it was, was that season 2? Where Rick did the quick draw. They were in the they were in the bar and Herschel was drinking and Rick just drew like a motherfucker. Bow, bow, bow. And like you never saw those guys again.
No, you don't know.
Were just in a pickup truck.
They mentioned like they were part of a bigger group. Maybe they met Woodbury. Maybe they weren't Woodbury. You don't know. You have no idea. But they're dead. That's it.
The uncertainty and mystery adds a lot. It's like the fog of war. The only way I can think is like, remember when you used to play Command and Conquer and you didn't know what was like in that black fog until you moved one of your tanks into it.
Yep.
That's what this whole world is like. Like you don't know what the fuck's going on. That's why it's so crazy that all these communities don't know. They're not that far. They're not even a day's drive from each other.
Right.
I mean, they're hours apart, but they have no idea that, like, say the kingdom exists. Or, the kingdom doesn't know about either of the others. Like, it's so insulated.
The world's a big place when you take away a lot of people.
Yeah. So that's really my big complaint is the attempt to make him more likable. But because he's already a somewhat likable character, and I think that if they cut this episode off at an hour and 10, it would have been great. But they let it go on too long. It was.
Well, again, I believe Aaron even said this. It's like, that'll be a problem that's eliminated when you just kind of binge it streaming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
This was definitely a binge. Like, I think they are deliberately, like, making the episodes binge-worthy, and that kind of like it's made for DVD now, and they're just.
Is that why they're fucking with the length?
I think that's why they're fucking with the length, and that's why it doesn't quite know where to end because it's meant to keep going. So, I mean, that's my theory about it, because it makes more sense, because that scene that they ended on was almost like a commercial break. So...
Yeah, it was super random, like, he's sitting on the porch and he's telling Rick, he's telling Carl, I'm sorry, he's sitting on the porch of Rick's house with Judith, holding Judith, like, as he's on a rocking chair, telling Carl, like, you know what, you're right. I don't have to keep you and your father alive. I'll just live here. I'll bury you. He's talking to like Judith, the baby. He's like, maybe I'll just bury Carl and Rick in that flower bed over there. And then the episode ends. You're like, wait, what? Like, it was a cool thing for him to say, especially talking to the baby like some sort of crazy man. but it was just like Aaron perfectly said. Like when that came, I was fully expect. I was like, credits. What the fuck are you running the credits now? Like,
so they're ending episodes like True Blood now.
Yeah, exactly. Which it worked for True Blood, but I don't know. This episode
until Billith.
This episode was good, except for, and I almost think that we shouldn't even do walk-in recaps anymore because my complaint seems like it's going to be the same thing over and over again. I don't like his acting, and it pisses me off because he was such good casting. So I know what he's capable of, like seeing him as the comedian in The Watchmen and shit. He can have that dark intensity, but in this he's treating this character like he's the Fonz. So he's constantly doing like that, hey, like he constantly has that, hey. I feel like he's gonna do finger snaps like at any scene that he's in, and it bothers the shit out of me. It takes me right out of it, where I can't like the character. I can't get invested in the story because his portrayal of the character lacks the courage of its convictions.
Now, how much of this...
What article did you read that?
That's me. I've thought about this since I watched that episode.
How much of this do you think is the actor or the showrunners?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just a misinterpretation of this character or if it is the showrunners. Because, like I said, I know I've seen his acting in Supernatural and The Watchmen, and he has a dark intensity. I know it. I've seen it. And he has that, like, sick balls humor. I thought the comedian from Watchmen would have lended itself to Negan very well because it's that I'm joking about burning you alive kind of fucking shit.
But see, even in the comic, it wasn't until Rick and Alexander and the Hilltop conspired to assassinate him that he lost that almost like a jolly tone. He was the jolly asshole. Like, he killed people, he did this and that, but he did it always with a smile on his face. He was never, like, quote-unquote, seemed like a bad guy if you just met him at a bar someplace.
It might also be the cinematography of it, because the way they're, I don't know, because...
Dude, he's wearing a biker leather jacket like the Fonz, with a red scarf around his neck with slicked back hair.
Still wearing that scarf? He doesn't take that shit off already?
He does every once in a while.
He wears it. Yeah.
But
not for like dramatic effect or anything. It's not like he's like, God damn it, Carl. He just like whips it off.
Like you see the intensity occasionally, once out of the entire like hour of each episode, and you're like, ooh, more of that, please. Like, but the rest of it.
But see, he's not. Even in the comic, he wasn't like that until it wasn't until they tried to kill him.
No, there's definitely
because he thought
there's definitely a way that you can portray the character. Do it justice, tell the same jokes, tell the same dialogue, deliver it in a way that doesn't seem like the Fonz. And the reason why it bothers me so much is because he's so goofy about it. I can't picture people following someone so fucking stupid. Like that demeanor does not lend itself to alpha male. Essentially, it doesn't like. There's a joking jock kind of demeanor that you can have that lends itself to being the leader of a group, but his portrayal of it is not that. It's very like nerd in the back of the classroom at third grade trying to be a Fonz. It's fucking like
see I disagree, because it's only in private moments that you see him break like that, or in moments where he's specifically trying to disarm and insult somebody like he does in front of, say, Rick in front of his group or something like that. You know what I mean? But when he gets pissed off, when he thinks he's in control, he's jovial. He doesn't really, he'll insult you with a smile on his face and he'll say something fucked up. But like you said, he does do it with a bit of like, haha, I'm untouchable. What are you going to do? You're not going to do shit. But when you cross him, or like, you know what I mean, that's when he does get that darkness. You know what I mean? Yeah. He gets pissed off. You know what I mean? And the whole thing with him anyway, the thing I like about Negan is the fact that he wants to be liked and respected. He does bad things because he feels he has to. Do you know his backstory?
I'm up to the part where he's imprisoned like later on?
No. His backstory. I believe it was a side comic or it was a side story of some sort.
Oh no.
Where he came from. Okay. Negan before the apocalypse had a wife whose name was Lucille. That's why he names his bat that. She died of cancer.
I mean, he's not a fan of Arrested Development?
No, she died of cancer just before the apocalypse or something like that. He was a high school gym coach who would fuck around with his students and say like mean fucked up things because that's his way of breaking balls. That's why he does it in the comic and in the show. That's why he does it to Carl, you know what I mean? And Carl starts crying, you know, and he's just like, What? Come on.
So he was a bad coach.
Well, no, he's like a gym teacher. He was like an asshole gym teacher. We've all had those. You know what I mean? A gym teacher who's like, come on, fatty. Come on, get up that rope.
I don't think they're allowed to do that anymore.
Not anymore, of course. But, so the way I see Negan knowing that is I see him as the local townie, probably peaked in high school, had the leather jacket when he was younger, had a cool car, but peaked in high school. So he's like a local old-timey hero in a sense, you know, like if he walks into a bar, probably people are like, hey Negan, I remember that time that you threw that pass, and he's like, yeah, if coach, basically Uncle Rico in a sense, like, you know, if coach just put me in that last game, we could have gone to state or whatever. And you know, so he's like just like a pissed off townie that never got the respect that he felt like he deserved. So when the apocalypse hit, he was like, fuck, my time to shine. Let's fucking do this. You know what I mean?
Can start new.
And that's why he's so focused on getting respect and people kneeling for him and stuff like that. You know what I mean? To me, I felt like it added a lot to
I guess so, but I don't think people know that backstory, and they might change it for the show, so I guess
they may not even explain it. I'm saying my personal views.
Oh, they'll explain it. The show likes to ruin things.
When he's normal in front of people, like not in front of people, like individually, but like when he's doing his big scenes and stuff, when he's like, look at this motherfucker over here. Like, every like dialogue in this episode was, look at this over here, look at this over there, what's this up here? Like how many things are you looking at? and he constantly did this like head waggle while he smiled, and it was just like, stop it. Just stop it.
You know, you're actually really making me want to see this episode just for like the comedic aspect of it.
I know we should dub over in different voices.
So we should do a
Riff tracks it.
Friggin' Master Geek Theater of this episode.
I don't know. This wasn't the strongest episode of the season by any stretch. But me and Aaron just respectfully disagree on the execution of the character. I mean, I would like to see him get a little bit more dark too, but I understand why
like
not.
Bruce Willis.
But see, the reason
from Die Hard, like he made jokes, but he was gonna shoot you in the face.
But see, that's what's gonna happen. They need to show the difference of before All Out War and during All Out War.
Well, it's got to be happening soon because
Yeah.
they're coming to like the mid-season finale, which the show always like, you know, it doesn't. It cuts its seasons into 2 seasons, so there's like what 2 or 3 more episodes coming up. Like coming up soon, right?
This is the last one.
This is the last one of the season.
Coming up.
Oh, okay.
This upcoming week.
Oh, okay, so they're gonna this will probably be like another hour and a half, 2-hour one or whatever,
Probably,
and you know they're gonna tie this up, and then next season they're gonna do something complete. This is my I haven't seen the I'm a season behind. This is from how jaded I am from this show. This is what I think they're gonna do. They're gonna like come up with something. He's gonna try to steal the baby. They're gonna defeat him in some small way. Maybe he'll steal the baby, and then we're not gonna see him. He's gonna steal the baby, and then he has to go through the bog of eternal stench. But you know, then we're gonna not see him again for the next half of the season, and then he's gonna come back again in season 8. I think that's what's gonna happen because this show and the showrunners are fucking predictable.
I don't think that he'll disappear or anything like that. I think, honestly, I don't think you're gonna have the introduction to All Out War. It's too soon right now.
No, it is too soon.
Which is fine because you know what? They're doing a good job. Besides this episode, pretty much every episode has been really strong.
Right, but I'm saying is that they're bringing this particular thread to an end, which means I think we're going to see a lot less Negan next half of the season.
Maybe.
They're going to come up with, maybe they'll focus on the kingdom or something like that, but they're going to the focus is going to shift. We're going to essentially kind of forget about Negan, and then they're going to bring Negan back for season 8 or 22. I forgot how they number them now that they bring them up into small seasons.
They'll probably start All Out War at the end of the actual season. So not this upcoming week, but fucking in the 8 episodes, after the 8 episodes coming up in like 4 months or whatever.
So they're only 8 at a time now? Not 10?
8.
It's fucking weird.
It's 16 episodes a season. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, me and Aaron just agree to disagree on it. I think that...
wrong. You're wrong.
Well, I think, again, they're just showing because he's gonna get way fucking darker. I mean, in the comic, he does shit like, how do we kill all these motherfuckers? And then he starts rubbing Lucille in like a dead zombie's face. And he's like, this is how we do it. We poison all our weapons. And now if we nick somebody with an arrow, they die. And they all rot from the inside their little hidey holes. Like, he gets super dark during the war, the all-out war. Right now is the time of Negan's fun and games. Once All Out War starts, that all that shit drops, and he gets dead serious, and he goes, all right, well, it's time to bash some more fucking heads in. And he does that. He does things. You know what I mean?
Can we talk about a good show?
We can talk about whatever you want. If you're going to talk about Westworld, do not, because I have not seen it, and I do not want it ruined. And if you do, I will smack that mustache off your face, son.
Well, apparently I can't talk about a good show now. No, I finished Game of Thrones. I'm all completely caught up with that now. Fucking great. I know you said you saw the Battle of the Bastards. Like you skipped it.
That's the only episode I saw, yeah.
That was good. But I'm telling you, if you're going to skip around to watch a battle, you need to watch the battle of, I forgot what it's called, but when Jon Snow goes to recruit like the wildlings to come like live south of the wall.
Is it Whiteholm? No, the battle of
something like that. Yeah. Where they like all have like gathered and lived. Dude, that fucking battle of like the undead, holy shit, puts all 20,000 seasons of fucking The Walking Dead to shame.
Of course, it's like fucking, come on. You can't compare the two.
Yes, I can, because now there's zombies in Game of Thrones. Yeah. And they're fast, and they're fucking scary, and dude, that was just like a fucking amazing battle. Amazing battle. And I think I was saying this to you online, and maybe I was saying it to Liz. I don't remember who I was saying it to, but the scale of the battles now at the point of Game of Thrones versus the first season where they didn't even have the money to show a battle, and they knocked out Tyrion Lannister, so they didn't have to pay to see a battle. It's like, wow, it's a fucking amazing.
Oh yeah,
fucking amazing.
Well, they've got a bunch of seasons under their belt, and now they've got the money to do it.
Yeah, definitely. So Game of Thrones is great. I don't know how they're gonna wrap up the entire story in 13 more episodes, but
they should have given another 2 seasons. Another 2 seasons.
2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. I don't know. It seems too grand of a scale to like. To just wrap up so soon. Like, I don't know how it's possible, but we'll find out.
You could if you had the budget to do a giant battle every fucking episode.
Maybe they will. Can't. I mean, it is like, it's the crown jewel of HBO right now. But now moving on to Westworld, and I will not give any spoilers. I just finished episode 3 last night, and I've watched Girls. I've seen a couple other shows on HBO.
Where do you? It's on HBO. Westworld is.
Yeah.
Oh. Gay. I was hoping that I could not have to. Maybe it was on Amazon Prime or something like that.
No, I don't. Well, I think it is, but you have to pay for it.
Well, I have Amazon Prime. Does it?
Like per episode.
Ugh.
I mean, we pay monthly for Go. So
yeah, well, I don't get HBO Go.
Well, you should. It's actually pretty worth it. But Westworld is great. It is absolutely great. And Liz finished it. She watched the whole season, the season finale, just last Sunday.
Without you?
Without me.
How dare she?
I know, right?
How?
But she's watching it again with me, and she says, like I said, I'm going on episode 4, and it's really good. It's fucking really. It's a thinker. It's definitely a thinker of a fucking show, and. Like I said, she saw the whole season already, and she started watching it again from the beginning with me the other night. And I guess, according to her, this is a show that you need to watch twice, because she's in the first 3 episodes. She's now seeing tons and tons of like minor, not even minor, but like just details and nuance that you don't realize when you're watching like the first way through.
Yeah.
And like. I guess like a lot of things that make the later episodes make much more sense, but you won't understand until you like watch the whole thing again.
So what's up with let me borrow that HBO Go fucking password or whatever the hell it is.
Talk to her. I don't have
the
it.
episodes, Roy. So just give me a thumb drive.
You got them?
I do.
Okay. Sweet.
Yes, we do nothing illegal here.
No, we don't.
That was just sounding like an edit pause right there.
But it's great so far, and I've heard of Westworld. I never watched the original, and I've deliberately have stayed away from spoilers. I don't know how accurate to the original this new one is or not.
I really want to read the book because I love Michael Crichton. He wrote Jurassic Park.
Is it a book?
Yeah.
I thought it was a show that he wrote.
I thought it was a book because maybe it's just a show that he wrote. I don't know.
I thought it was just a show that he wrote.
Oh,
but
I'll be sad.
Yeah, it was like an old show that he
I might
wrote,
be
though.
wrong.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
No,
Oh.
it's really great. Like I said, it definitely have that Jurassic Park feel because it is a theme park, and you know something is going to go wrong. Like if they turn Jurassic Park into a series, I'm sure like
so good.
the tension as the audience, you would see the systematic failures coming before the in-universe characters see it. That's how I almost feel.
Yeah.
Is like,
Well, it's the Matrix meets Jurassic Park meets fucking any Clint Eastwood movie.
yeah, kinda.
I'm kind of scared though because I don't like westerns. So like, I don't like western things.
See, I used to not like westerns, but westerns over the last like 15 years have gotten really, really good. And like I can't watch like the old
Wicka Wicka Wild Wild West.
that
Wicka
no
Wicka.
that doesn't
No?
that doesn't
The
count.
gem.
No.
Oh,
The gem of cinema.
And that one that was kind of steampunk too. I mean,
oh, such
so.
just a trash movie.
But it was like a good concept. They just didn't execute it correctly.
will-
But no, with Westworld, it's
Cowboys
you
and
would like
aliens?
it because it doesn't focus completely inside the park. I mean, they are inside the park the entire time, but like the control center is inside the park, but I'm not sure where exactly. I just know that they live in it, and they don't say what year it is.
I thought it was more of a Matrix. So it's an actual,
It's like a theme park.
and they're all androids of some sort.
They are some sort of
Okay.
machine.
Because for some reason I thought that they were. It was more like a Matrixy type thing where you're going into like almost like a program type hologram thing.
No,
The
it's
Well, they
holodeck.
did that with Caprica.
yeah. From what I've seen, like I said, only been the first 3 episodes. It's some sort. I don't know if it's underground. It's actually out west. I don't know where the hell it is. They've shown like they call the robots the hosts, and then real people are the guests. And they've shown.
But who's the guests and who are the hosts?
See, I don't know. They
Mystery.
do a good job of like. I thought there's been a couple of times where I thought the character was a real person and they turn out to be a host, and I'm like, fuck. So like
Do the hosts know that they're hosts, or do they think they're guests?
they're programmed.
See, I don't know any spoilers for the show. I've specifically
they're programmed like they call them the newcomers, and you have to think of it like it's like a giant RPG. So like as a guest, they show this one character who we don't know too much. He's like there with his like brother-in-law or something like that, and his brother-in-law has been there a whole bunch of times, and all he does is go and shoot and fuck is apparently what he likes to do there.
I mean, isn't that what you would do if you could?
Maybe.
So wait, these androids are fuckable?
Oh yeah.
Look at
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like they're robots, but they're fucking, I don't know,
I hear there's a place you can go to
weird
do that, Cuba.
bio mechanical type of thing. Like Liz essentially like
So you don't have to throw a little bit of WD inside there? Or
no, because they bleed. They feel real, and the Anthony Hopkins is the John Hammond of this park.
Okay.
And it's been open for 30 years.
Spared no expense.
I hope that line comes up at some point. This park has been open for 30 years, and you see some of the older ones, like some of the older hosts, and they act and move more robotic, almost like Disney Pirates of the Caribbean, but they look real.
Okay.
And I guess he's just been refining their programming and their behavior over the years to make them more. He's like adding like just subtle things to add more realism to them.
Because that's not a bad idea.
And it's at conflict with like the board of directors and the investors. You know, they just want to make money. Where this is something else to him.
It's a work of art.
And it really is. Like, so it's really interesting. So I don't know how people can tell other people that apart in there. I don't think they can. I'm assuming that the hosts can tell people apart. Just that they haven't shown through their vision at any point yet. So I don't know if they see things differently and can tell who's real or not. But the thing is, they can't hurt you. They're programmed to not be able to physically. If they shoot you, the bullets, I don't know if they're not real bullets or what they are, but like you feel them, but they don't like hurt. Like they can knock you over, but they're not going to like puncture your skin.
They're
or anything
rubber
like that.
bullets.
Maybe, but like a dude got shot and he acted like it didn't hurt at all. So I don't know if they're rubber bullets or not. Another dude got shot and he like fell backwards. So
well, he's a pussy.
He is a pussy. But you can kill them, and you can do anything you want to them, and it is like a giant RPG. So you get
It's like Red Dead Redemption thing.
It really is. You get there via train. So like they showed this character, he comes to the park via like a subway, but you don't know where it is. Everything's stark white, and the futuristic stuff is like super subtle. Like they have like these paper thin iPads, but like the technology is not what we have, and all the hosts when the techs are working on them are like voice commands and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
So they'll be like running they'll go run diagnostic, what was the meaning, like inquiry, what was the last meaning of this, and it's all voice command for these people, or they can control them via these little iPads and shit. So it's like really, remember like that show on Fox that got canceled that was really good that had bones in it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the technology reminds me of that show. It's like very
Is that
futuristic,
the
but
cop show.
Yeah,
the black android.
Yeah,
or something like that?
it's like that,
Human
like
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and almost like Minority Report, like believable, subtle, futuristic stuff. Like I can't tell you how, like what time in the future this is. If it's 50 years in the future or 10 years in the future, it's really subtle, and they do a good job of blending. The Wild West is just inside the park, but like the control center and stuff like that, it's like almost like the fucking Rebel briefing room. Like they shows the whole park on like this table with 3D projection and stuff, and like if one of the hosts is malfunctioning, they like zero in on it and they like see anything and everything, and
they can like shut
play
it
back
down.
and
They
stuff.
can shut it down from a distance and shit.
I don't know if they can. I think they have to go into the park, and there's like a specific phrase that they can say to them. They'll shut them down and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. And
You'd think you'd make like a failsafe of some sort, where you just like a kill switch where you hit a button and it just shuts it down. A restraining bolt, if you will.
Again, I'm only 3 episodes in. I don't know if they do have that or not, but it's definitely interesting. And like I said, it's like a giant RPG because you can go there, and you can the train takes you to like the town, and the town is like just like any RPG. The village is like the kind of the central hub where you can like do all sorts of missions, and all the hosts are programmed for like a particular routine. Like that's every day. It's what they do.
So it's,
but then if somebody
that's like Skyrim.
sort of. So, but if a person interacts with their routine, then they like improvise based
Oh, cool.
on that person. So if not, they just run through their loop, which I think they call it the loop. But then like, if you want to be a bounty hunter, you like go to the sheriff's and you pick like a wanted poster and you're like, I want to hunt this guy. You're like, so you could do that.
Cool.
Or like one of the dudes like fell off like his horse and buggy into like a bunch of like mud or something like that, and a guy helped him up, and he was like, oh, thank you, sir, and his friend's like, oh man, why'd you do that? Now he's just gonna try to drag you into a treasure hunt. And, like later on, the guy like he finds him and he's like I want to thank you so much for helping me this afternoon. He goes, I happen to have a map to a treasure, and it's like, so it really is like an interactive RPG.
It just makes me think of Skyrim, because you can do certain things in Skyrim.
Well, imagine if you could go to Skyrim land.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. It's kind of crazy, and I'm like, wow, this would be a fun place to do. But when you kill them, it's realistic. They bleed. They cry out in pain. Their brains will get splattered all over the place, and it's like, people laugh, like, and I guess it's like a commentary on society of probably then and now, like, dude kills an innocent host for no reason just because it's fun, and like, dude actually did it, and it's like, you see that? I shot him in the fucking neck, and he's all excited and stuff like that. It's like,
now, what about the?
It's like, how desensitized are we?
Well, what about the other hosts? Do they react in horror? Do they?
I guess it depends on the situation and their programming.
Okay.
So it's like I said, dude, it's definitely a thinker, because you're thinking like, all right, what is going on? Something is going on. What is gonna go wrong? Who is doing what here? And then again, for me, I'm thinking about like, what a fucking crazy world. I'm like, would I go there? Like, it'd be cool. I want to be on this bounty hunter school. I want to be part of this posse. But it's like, the violence is so real, even though it's fake. Your brain doesn't know that it's fake. If you shot a dude in the face, your brain is gonna think that you just shot a real person in the face.
Well,
that fucks up human beings, like real human beings.
Well, not only that, but how do you, if there's no distinguishing feature to mark host from guest, you don't know. You might draw, and what happens if that? Obviously, the character you were talking about knows that host was a host. But what happens if I pull a gun and shoot you, and you're an actual, like, living person?
Well, I don't think they're real guns. I'm assuming
Well,
that.
then how the fuck does it blow through an android? Of course, it's got to be a real gun.
It's the future.
They just have squib packets in their brains that when you shoot them in the head, half their brain goes. Pfft.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's an actual.
How dare you bring this half-cocked idea to us?
I don't think it's an actual firearm. I don't think, because the head of security, like the episode that I just saw, they had like one of the hosts went off cycle and like ran into the mountains. So Tech and the head of security went to go get him, which is, I'm like you said, I'm like, why don't they have like a shutdown signal for this? Yeah. So for whatever reason, they went into the park to go get him, and the head of security, like the Tech is kind of teasing the head of security because he has a gun, but it almost looks like it looks like an airsoft gun. It looks real, but the barrel is red. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you don't need that. We have this and blah blah blah. He's like, he goes, if the only thing's protecting me from this thing bashing my head in is the line of code that you guys programmed in there. He goes, and if you didn't do a good job with that line of code, he goes, this is my only defense. So because they purposely focused on the gun, and it had like I don't know if it's supposed to be like, hey, it's a futuristic gun. It's got like a red tipped barrel, or it's a specific type of gun that can damage these things. Wow. But if you shoot a person, maybe it's non-lethal.
So do
you know what I mean?
All the guns have that tip?
No, like in the world, like they're all like like cults and stuff.
Well, then what
like
I would
that.
say is that red tip probably denotes a real weapon that can actually kill.
Well, it could, or it denotes that it fires rounds that can kill these things.
Well,
I don't know.
Or I'm assuming if you can go through a flesh and metal android, that'll probably fuck a person up too.
I don't think it's metal.
Oh,
they're like,
okay.
They're like biosyntheoids or something like that.
Well, I'm assuming if it can go through that, it can go through a person. It's kind of a weird. But I gotta watch the show.
You do.
I'll watch it.
It's Aaron, you look so stoic.
I'm reading emails.
You look like a big white
Ugly.
snow beard man.
Oh, gee, thanks, Cuba.
So you haven't seen this either, right?
No.
You,
I
you need to
I'm getting there. Maybe tonight. Maybe I'll start it
get
tonight.
on that. You're gonna like it.
I watched.
Because I need to talk to somebody besides my wife about this.
I watched.
She already knows.
Episode 9 of Ash vs. the Evil Dead, and they bring him back to the cabin. I should say he reads shit from the book again, sends him back to 1980 before he reads the book the first time, so he has to go back to the cabin. This was like the Army of Dark, Evil Dead 3 that we never got. There's like tree tentacle shit shooting out everywhere. There's like one has like grows an eyeball and there's teeth. It's ridiculous.
Does he meet his younger self?
No, but he runs into the granny again. Oh my god, it is so good. So and it ends on a cliffhanger. So the next episode will still continue to have the granny. But yeah, it's like I'll swallow your soul, like that one. Oh, it's so good.
That's a show I need to watch because that show sounds like it's having a lot of fun.
So does this show follow the first, second, and third move? Like what?
Army of Dark.
It's all canon.
He
from what I
mentions
believe,
the
right?
fact that he went back to medieval times in this episode. So I mean, I guess it's all canon. They never.
Yeah, he goes in Army of Darkness. He goes back to the present day.
Well, I thought, but I mean, I just didn't know if they were taking a bit more of a. I guess realistic isn't really a term you think.
Do they explain, like, is he cursed? Is that why, like, the Deadites are constantly showing up in his life?
Basically, yeah. So in this episode, they kind of explore the fact that if he never reads the book, he won't be damned dealing with evil for the rest of his life. Essentially.
All right, so he's damned because he read the book.
Yeah.
So, like, no matter what, because he read the book throughout the rest of his life, he's essentially cursed to fighting the evil dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sucks.
But I mean, the show it's here and there. Like when it has its good episodes, they are damn good episodes, and when it doesn't, you're like, this is some hokey fucking shit. Which I guess it kind of goes like in its favor too.
It wouldn't be faithful if it wasn't hokey in some way.
It's definitely having fun, and you can see that. And they try to push the limits too. Like I said in the episode 4 with the Christine episode, where you see a tire just mow of dude's face. Oh, gross. But
so whatever happened to like the shared universe, like with the reboot movie that they did, that was supposed to have like tie into the original series.
Well, in this episode,
and then there was gonna
they mentioned that because they're like, what, we're in 1980s again? They're like, yeah, there's. And one of the other characters was like, yeah, there's multiple like dimensions of reality or something like that. So they kind of mention it in some roundabout way, but they haven't actually mentioned that particular movie.
Right, but I mean, in real life, did they just drop that whole thing? That came out like what, 5 years ago?
Probably.
The reboot of the Evil Dead.
Yeah, probably.
So like, usually if they're gonna make a sequel, it comes less than 3 years.
And then they make them one every year after that.
Exactly. So, and I liked it. It was actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Despite people claiming it was gore porn, which it was gore porn.
Yeah.
It's Evil Dead. You have to kind of expect that.
But was it hokey or did they play it straight?
They played it straighter than the originals did, but some of the gore was ridiculous, but not silly ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I definitely would have liked to see where they were going with that, especially because at the end of the credits, they actually show Ash, the real Ash.
He goes
Really?
groovy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. You're not expecting that. And then the filmmakers are like, oh yeah, so, our next movie is going to tie in with the original ones because, this isn't a reboot, it's another universe thing and stuff like that. Then you heard nothing for years, and then they made this show. So I have no idea what their end game is if they just dropped the movie remakes or what?
I don't know.
I like that idea. I like the idea of him going into the past, and then since he messed with stuff, going into the future, and it kind of fucked around with stuff. So then that's why he is in the parallel somewhat dimension or whatever, where it happens to that other girl.
Yeah, that would be a cool meeting.
So instead of in this timeline, instead of it happening to him in the 80s, it happened to her in the 2000s, but in his home timeline, he's already been through it, so he knows.
And it's like the same cabin. I'm pretty sure that was like one of the things that they made sure when they did the remake, that they like
I could totally see him
panel by panel put like the cabin together.
I could totally see him saying something like in the next movie, like, something basically like, wow, there's a lot more serious than it was when I went through it. Like when I went through it, it was a hell of a lot more hokey. Some shit like that,
This definitely brings back the hokey, but their blood budget is ridiculous. There's so much blood in the show.
And the clips that you show me, I like that it's real blood and not like that CG blood. Nothing takes you out of a show.
Did you ever see the episode
digitally enhanced blood?
The clip I sent with the cadaver?
Oh no, with his
he
head
went
goes
up
up
the
his
ass.
No, I didn't.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna watch that show. It's still the first season, right?
No, it's in the second season.
Oh, I'll watch it eventually. Eventually, I'll watch it all. I've got so many different things I've got to watch. Oh,
so you'll never get
I'm
to
behind. No, I won't.
No, he still needs to finish Breaking Bad.
I'm probably not.
Don't say you're probably not, dude, because you cannot exist in this world if you have not seen Breaking Bad.
Dude, I've seen what happens in real life.
No, you have not. You have not.
True, I haven't seen heads blow up on tortoises. That you know of. Yet.
Oh, man, I think it was on Thanksgiving, somebody had said that they left off where you did. So the same exact episode.
See, I hate shows that just go down and down and down, and they're like, oh my god, these characters hit rock bottom, and then down more, and I'm just like, there's no fun for me there.
But Battlestar Galactica is so fun.
But it had episodes that brought you back up, and you were like, oh wait, you know what I mean?
Yeah, many.
And let's be honest, and let's be completely honest.
Breaking Bad does that a little bit.
Battlestar, excellent show. But that's one that you don't watch all the way through and then say, you know what? Let's start that over and watch it through again. No, you take some time. It's like a couple of years in between viewings. Like, I was going to...
Well, same thing with Breaking Bad. You don't watch it again the next week. You wait a month.
Not for me.
Nah, dude.
It's not,
you have not even gotten into it.
It gets good.
I have not gotten into it.
It gets real bad, like around when the two brothers...
Give me some fantasy shit instead.
The two brothers, like the two murderer brothers or whatever, are trying to come after him. That's where I stopped watching.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was like, and then I picked it up again, and it got so good after that.
Oh, I binged that fucking show in like a month or two. Just... God damn!
I've seen what drugs.
I went to my grandmother's funeral, and then I went home, and Liz and I watched like 5 episodes in a row of that fucking show.
But see, that's okay for you because you were at such a sad event that watching Breaking Bad would lift your fucking spirits.
No, I wasn't even in the bad part yet.
You know, I mean, for me, it just brings me so down. I watch that, and I'm like, you know, man, I've seen people I've seen the decline in human beings and my family that shit happen to. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I just don't. You know,
you need to see it for Walter's story. It's just like, holy shit, dude.
I know I should, but I don't have an interest in it because of the, you know what I mean, my real life situation. I'm trying to think. It's like if you were watching a show about the struggles of somebody who has cerebral palsy or something like that, but your brother had cerebral palsy, so it like hits too hard to home. You're like, I can't watch it. I lived this already. Fuck that. You know? Yeah, I didn't become a giant kingpin and make millions of dollars off selling drugs, but I seen the effects of drugs.
You're like Jesse.
No.
That's kind of mean, I guess.
Science, bitch.
Aaron's face knows what I mean. Watch a show.
So we got some trailers too this week, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Transformers, the last fucking movie.
Transformers, the last fucking movie. We hope.
I was not impressed with the Transformers one at all.
It looked like every other Transformers movie. The only thing that got me mildly excited in the pants was I'm 99% positive that thing that we saw that we can't tell what it is Unicron.
That's cool.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's the Unicron. They've done everything else. Michael Bay has butchered almost every other Transformer plotline. He has not touched Unicron yet, so that's the only thing left.
So you can't wait for him to fuck that one up too?
Oh yeah, well, he's already fucked it up. Because what it looks like to me, well, I have no idea what this has to do with King Arthur or Nazis. Over my fucking head. I don't know where that's going there. But what else they show in the trailer is that, Optimus is missing, and they show him floating through space. And then
when did he disappear in the last movie?
At the end of the last movie, I think he went into space.
I don't remember.
I haven't watched him.
That movie was like
I didn't see the last movie, but I read when it came out. And I'm pretty sure
was that Extinction when he rode the dinosaur?
Yeah, and broke China.
Yeah.
He broke China.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at the end of that movie,
China.
he goes into space. I don't remember what the purpose was, but he went into space. And here, in this trailer, they show him floating, frozen, turned off in space. And then they show him on Earth, maybe killing Bumblebee and kicking a bunch of other Autobots' asses. And then, you hear him go, "I'm sorry. Forgive me." So, my conclusion that I come to that is that he's floating through space like Megatron was in the 1985 movie. He encounters Unicron like in the 1985 movie, but instead of turning Megatron into Galvatron, he turns Optimus into
Bad Optimus.
and sends him back to
Boptimus.
Earth under his control. Boptimus. Galvatris. I don't know, but I guarantee you that is the plot of this movie, minus the Nazis and King Arthur. I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Yeah, it was weird seeing one of the Autobots. I think it was Optimus. Was had a giant sword, but it looked like Excalibur.
Yeah, I've seen the promo pictures for that. It's
Come on.
but that contradicts this whole movie franchise because Optimus didn't land on Earth until the first episode, the first movie.
I don't think Michael Bay is worried about continuity.
Time schmime. We need dick jokes. More robot pee dick jokes.
Hey man, the first one was. It might just be nostalgia glasses. Might just be the nostalgia glasses.
No. I agree. The first one is decent. I like the first one.
The first one is a legitimately good flick.
Yeah, it has its problems, but it doesn't have a giant Transformers balls swinging on the pyramids problem.
Yeah. The next trailer we saw was Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which I gotta be honest, I wasn't terribly impressed with.
Neither was I.
Everybody was, the internet was abuzz, as I've read on severals. Oh, our heart is melting. We're going crazy over Baby Groot. We just can't handle it. I don't know.
I mean, that was the best part of the trailer with Rocket and Groot. But,
yeah.
I mean, other than that, like I said, it looks like it's just more of the last movie, which the last movie was great, but more of the same doesn't necessarily mean good.
Yeah. I mostly wasn't impressed because it didn't show us that much. We saw some pretty scenes, that was it. And then you had the group. But honestly, the reason it gave me nothing was because right before that, I watched The Last of Us Part 2 trailer. Oh, yeah. So I watched that, and I was like, oh my God, they're doing it! Yeah! I got so excited. And then I scrolled down, because on that site, it also had the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I watched it, and I was like, Like, it was like a really lazy blowjob after the best sex of your life. It was like it was like having the best sex of your life, and then the next to getting an uninspired hand job. It was such a letdown.
I wish I could use uninspired hand job as the episode name.
Use uninspired handy. Come on, man, get with it.
See, that's why you're here. That's your purpose.
I know.
Uninspired handy.
Yeah, it just. Oh, so did you guys see the trailer for The Last of Us Part 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you sent it to us.
Oh, that's right, I did. Yee!
I
was
didn't.
so
Dude, I didn't
excited.
even know that the second one was that far along. That they made a trailer for it.
It wasn't really that. They were discussing ideas and whatnot for it.
Yeah, that's the last I ever heard.
But then half that team got pulled away. The creative team got pulled away. They were like in like a brainstorming session, like the beginning stages of development, just ideas. And then half that team, I believe, got pulled away for Uncharted 4. So they were kind of like left in this like limbo. And then even was it Neil Druckmann? He's the creative director for the first one, or one of the two creative directors. And he said like we didn't know where to go with it because we didn't know a story to tell that would do it justice, which is a great fucking thing for a director of something to say. When they don't want to make a sequel right away, even though it's, let's be honest, I mean that game was probably the watermark of, it was the swan song of the PlayStation 3. You know what I mean? And
it looks beautiful on PlayStation 4.
it's probably one of the best looking games for the PS4.
Yeah.
And it's a remastered version, you know? And it's got the feels, it's got the great gameplay. That game doesn't lack in anything. I think it's in my personal opinion, I think it's the perfect game. If you like linear good stories. If you like open worlds, then it's not for
I
you.
prefer this type of game.
Yes, me too. Give me a straightforward story that really punches me in the gut, lifts me up, then brings me down, and lifts me up. I fucking love it.
Well, then you would love Breaking Bad.
Can I tell you about a show called Breaking Bad?
I said ups and downs, ups and
There
downs.
are ups and downs.
No, there's downs, and then
There's downs and there's uppers, and they cost different.
there's just downs, and then there's just less downs. Just, you know. Yeah, so they're gonna make a second one. That trailer really hyped me up too.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
That trailer just fun. I don't even have words. I was just like the trailer.
Nah.
I mean, she's older. She's playing the guitar. She's got tattoos where her bite marks were apparently. She's got a bite on her neck, and she just says like basically, Joel shows up. What are you gonna do, kiddo? And she's like, I'm gonna kill him.
Which they don't show him.
They show
like well, I know, but they
show
don't.
the side. They show this kind of like a
Right.
3/4.
But I'm like wondering why we don't actually get a full view of Joel.
For dramatics, because to make you say that, to make you wonder why, you know. And then, you know, he says, like, you could tell by his voice, like, what are you going to do?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, if you play the game, you obviously knew it was him, but I'm like, is he mangled? Is he just too old? I'm like,
But just
why
imagine
did
him
they
with an
show it?
hot iron-shaped fucking burn on his face, like from Negan.
I thought you were going, like, you were making a hand gesture, I'm like, Harry Potter scar?
I'm Harry Potter. No. So, I'm really excited for that. Really excited.
It's going to be good. Well, I hope it's going to be good.
I know,
Because it has the potential to be a Matrix sequel.
it does have the potential to suck ass. But we also said that about the original. Remember, I was singing the praises of the original Last of Us. Remember, I showed you guys the video of the combat, like a year and a half before the game came out. We were at Aaron's. This was back in the days of the escape pod.
Yeah.
It was like that sequence when he was in like a hall and he threw
Yeah,
a brick at somebody.
Yeah, it's like the Marauders or whatever the hell you.
Yeah,
like,
that
the
I showed you
fight.
guys. I found that like a year and a half before the game came out.
Yeah.
and I waited that entire time, and I was just like, ooh yeah, I was Charlie Murphy.
Well, the
sitting in
game
back seat.
mechanics are going to be the same or better. It's just the story, like they said. Like,
I'm just
it's-
saying my excitement level for this game.
Okay.
I will buy a PS4 for it.
I will buy a
That's how it's
PS4 for it too. This fucking game is.
Bam! Yeah.
But I'm gonna
Yay,
wait.
we'll all have
I'm gonna
PS4.
wait for the good one with the VR.
The PS VR.
You know, yeah, I don't think you'd be able to play that game in VR though.
No, him? He's a pussy. He'd be afraid.
Well, no, not only that, but the cinematic and like the cinematography, I don't think would work in VR.
No. But I mean, like, if
don't
I'm
know.
buying a PS4, I'm buying the VR. God damn it!
It would be pretty cool if in VR it's always first person, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's no third person in VR.
Well, it'd defeat the purpose, I would imagine.
You know, I kind of was working that through my head because I was thinking like it'd be like the ultimate IMAX in a way, where like I don't know. I think it'd be weird to play a third person game in that. Everything would be. I don't know. I got to think that. We'll talk more about it off there. Edit that out.
I don't have time to edit. This is a day late.
Oh,
so
you didn't tell me we're going up raw. What the fuck?
Going
dude?
up raw. Raw Dog, episode 13, Raw Dog. We at 13? No, we're on 14.
Oh, you
I
were
wrote down the
releasing
wrong episode.
on Monday.
No. That's after the new year. So, the remainder of this month, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be fucked up for us because fucked up for everybody because Christmas and parties and Hanukkah, if you celebrate that, December is busy. So because of Thanksgiving, we are like short an episode. So we will be short an episode at a certain point because I'm gonna do what I did last week. As soon as we're done tonight, I'm gonna throw this together and load it up for tomorrow, which will be a Thursday. These normally come out on Wednesday, but I think next Wednesday I'm not going to be able to podcast, and there is absolutely no weekend between now and the end of the year where we can all actually get together to podcast. So I'm not sure when our final episode of the year is going to be. It'll probably be after Rogue One. We're going to have to make a time to...
Well, even if you and me get back here and do a short little half an hour and get something out because we can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a Rogue One episode, whether it's like a quickie episode or a full on spoilerific fuckathon episone. We'll figure that out.
That leads into that conversation that we couldn't talk about before.
So, the rest of this year, we're probably going to miss a couple days. I apologize for these coming out on Thursdays instead of Wednesdays, but we're probably going to take a little break until after January. So after the Rogue One episode, we're going to come back the beginning of the year. We're going to come back fresh. We're going to be releasing these on Monday instead of midweek to late week.
It'll be better, harder, faster, stronger.
And we do have a more refined show format that we will follow more. There's Roy's like, I don't think we need to do that.
I shrugged. I was like, yeah, we'll see.
There will still be rambling episodes, but there are certain segments that we've been talking about doing that we just haven't gotten to do. I will have a little more time also during the week, hopefully after the first of the year, to be able to focus on getting a little more prep together. So our season 2 will be great and will be grand. So there'll be more details on that, but we will be releasing on Mondays starting 2017. And before we go, Aaron, we have a promo. Why don't you tell us again?
Head on over to... Let me just make sure that...
He wasn't paying attention.
Nope. Let's see. FosterGrant.com. Come on, load. And then click on Sun...
That's not... You don't type in load, because that'll take you to a different website.
.com. Then go over to sunglasses. Click on Star Wars. And all the adult Star Wars glasses are 50% off with code word FORCE at checkout.
If you go to our website, modernretrocast.com, you can click on the image where it will give you the promo code and a link to Foster Grant Star Wars Sunglasses.com as well.
Tell them where else they can find us, Cuba.
Why don't you, Roy?
No.
Because I don't know.
Because you're supposed to have it written down so I can read it. I told you.
I'm going to tape them to the side of the fridge.
That's why I pointed towards the beer fridge.
Yeah. We're on Twitter at modernretrocast.com. You can reach us via email at modernretrocast@gmail.com. We are on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. You can go to our website, modernretrocast.com, and that is the galactic hub of all things modern retro, where you can go to Stitcher, you can go to iTunes, you can listen to episodes, you can write comments, you can leave feedback, you can go to all of our social medias, and
remember, guys,
like, comment, subscribe, and if you like, comment, subscribe to any of those things, you will be entered into the contest to win a pair of sunglasses, and 2 winners will win a pair of the adult Star Wars sunglasses.
Excellent.
It's a good deal to me.
I like it.
And remember, you have to hashtag gimme them glasses. I'm not kidding. I want the hashtag Gimme Dumb Glasses.
What if I do it? Are we exempt because we didn't have any like rules saying against it?
That's a given. You don't get it. You don't get it.
Damn it!
You go to fostergrant.com and type in Force and checkout to get your own.
I already have a bunch of pairs. I have like the Han Solo Aviators, and I think the R2-D2 sports glasses, and then
How
like
did
the
you get
Empire.
these and I didn't?
I bought them.
Oh. Okay, well that explains it. Good night, everybody.